Well, we're only a few minutes in, and I feel like a rest already. That's a lot of running around when you're just kind of by yourself. Well, me and Damien here today. Because, apparently Laurie gets a vacation. I wonder if Jesus had a vacation. Do you suppose Jesus had vacations? What about hobbies? Do you think Jesus had a hobby? What do you suppose Jesus did for fun? Okay, that's the wrong question to ask, because I think we hear these stories about Jesus from the Bible, and it always seems like he's working. It always seems like work, doesn't it? Like even when he goes to somebody's house for supper, it always seems like it's work. When he's talking to people, he seems to be either healing or doing miracles, doing all sorts of stuff. He's always busy. But I don't suppose that means he's not having fun, does it? When you do what you love, because what you love is loving people, there must be some fun in that, some joy in that. But even if there is, do you suppose Jesus ever gets a break? Like, what does he do? What does he do when he's got downtime? I know it sounds like he doesn't ever have downtime. He's always going somewhere. He's always doing something. But we can't cover every second of Jesus' life in the gospel stories. So what do you suppose he did? He was a carpenter, probably, we think, maybe, or a builder of some kind. So maybe for fun, once he started into ministry, maybe for fun, he built stuff. Maybe every now and then, he'd come to one of the disciples and say, "Hey, I built you this folding chair. Look, you can just carry it. And then if you need to sit down, hey, there you go." And I bet he had fun doing stuff like that. I wonder if they played games, Jesus and the disciples. After supper, they'd sit down, have a little chat, and maybe play a few games. I'm not sure what games you play in those days, but maybe. You never know. Wonder what else. Jesus obviously liked to walk, because he walked that's more like work, isn't it, though? Because he kind of had to walk everywhere. I'm sure every now and then, Jesus probably even just took a moment to look at the world and wonder at how beautiful it was, how beautiful creation was. Just maybe take a moment to look at a flower or a tree, a mountain. Sometimes Jesus liked to go up the mountain a little bit, climb up a little bit, sit somewhere by himself. We hear these stories sometimes about how Jesus wanted to be by himself to pray. And see, that's the thing. Since the beginning of March, middle of March, we've had this kind of weird lifestyle thing happening where you can't go anywhere and you can't really do anything. Lots of people stayed at home. There was no school. You couldn't go to movies. You couldn't go to hockey games. Still can't, but you can always still watch the Oilers lose. Anyway, you couldn't do some of those things that we did for fun. You had to find other things. And lots of people, I'm sure, kind of felt at first like, oh, well, I'm on vacation. Except you're not, are you? You're doing that because you kind of have to take care of yourself and to take care of everyone around you. You still have to find a moment or two. A moment or two for what Jesus would probably say, I just want to be by myself and pray for a bit. I want to just talk to God for a bit. I just want to be by myself. And that alone time wasn't sleeping. It wasn't playing a game. It was just reconnecting with God, getting to know the world again. Because sometimes you can be too busy to notice that. Stuff can happen. Over the last few weeks, Jesus had a really interesting life that we've been hearing about over the last few weeks. He's been really busy teaching. He got chased out of his hometown. He heard that his cousin John had been killed by Herod. He did some more healing. He did some miracles. He fed a bunch of people. He just wanted to find some time to be by himself. So he did. He sent the disciples on ahead. We're going to hear that today. He sent them on ahead, and he just took some time. And we say in the Bible story, by himself to pray. But I think it wasn't just kind of that, on your knees with your hands. It wasn't that. It was Jesus connecting with God, talking to God, sharing thoughts and feelings about what's been happening with God. And we need to do that too. We need to find time for that. We need to find a few minutes just by ourselves to share with God. And remember that God is with us, always. We can always talk to God. It doesn't matter what time of day or night. We can always take a moment. Sometimes we need to take a moment. You can't be busy all the time. You have to take a moment and share some time with God. We're going to sing a song now that tells a few stories. Each verse kind of tells a few stories about what's been going on in Jesus' life. But ultimately, it comes back to that one thing, that God is there, whatever is happening. And take just a moment to connect with God.